Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. You know the websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com. Also all over allthingscomedy.com. There are 30 or 50 podcasts. If you need a new podcast, if you go to allthingscomedy.com and look at their selection, the Dork Forest is there, but also a gajillion others. Aaron Foley and Tom Papa and Bill Burr and Al Madrigal. There's just a bunch of them. Ari Shafir. Baron Vaughn. I could keep going. Let's not. The credits. Patrick Brady, gonna fix this audio once, and it's a great thing that he does that, and I totally appreciate that. Vilmos fixes my website, Jackie Cation. He keeps it all updated. With the new Conan set, you can watch me. I did Conan a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. You can watch me in a shirt that I got, that I borrowed from when I did the Marc Maron TV show. I got to act on the Marc Maron TV show on IFC, and that's going to air in probably 6 months. But whatever. I got to borrow that shirt and those pants, and I wore them on the Conan O'Brien show. Okay. DorkForest.com, of course, and Jackie Cation both have a donation button. JackieCation.com has the Amazon banner that you can order from Amazon, and I get a little kickback. Doesn't cost you extra. I appreciate that. You can order Ranger of the Dork Forest and Dork Forest related items, plus all my CDs and DVDs. Got a new, my current new album, Top 10 Comedy Albums Specials of the Year on Vulture.com. This will make an excellent Horcrux. Is available via CD or DVD on JackieCation.com on the merch page, where you can also get t-shirts and hoodies. I have one of every size of zip-hooded sweatshirt in stock for some reason, so it wouldn't be a pre-order if you want to get it. Granted, we're going into spring, but if you want a zip hoodie, you can order it there too. Now, did I do all the credits? I don't think I did. I don't think I mentioned Mike Rickberg composing and singing the intro song. He's going to sing his lyrics to the Mexican Hat Dance at the end of the program. And this week's advertising support person is Jenny Bergman, one of the owners of West Side Kids, a toy store in the Upper West Side in New York City. So if you're ever on 84th in Amsterdam and you need a cool toy, go into West Side Kids because it's super fun. It's a great toy store. Now, what else should I talk about? Stand-up comedy. I'm in LA for a couple of weeks. It's been great. Last weekend we went and visited my dad. This weekend we're going to go visit Andy's mom's. But other than that, I'm just doing sets around stand-up wise. I think I'm in Indio on March 18th, which is tomorrow. 2015 with, Denny Johnston, Indio doing a stand-up show. Indio being near Palm Springs. How weird is that? Wow, this is, getting long. Anyway, and then I'm doing a show with Andy Kindler at Meltdown on the 20th. All right. This has been the longest intro ever. Let's get into the show. It's a great one. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. I'm in my living room with Dan St. Germain. Hello.
Hey!
Welcome to the Dork Forest, Dan St. Germain.
That's me sounding excited. We were talking about that right before.
I was just trying to get some levels, and I'm like, what happens when you get excited? You're like, oh, when will it happen?
When will it happen? Then I do this fake, hey, how are you?
Dan St. Germain, at DS Germain, on Twitter. Dan St. Germain, STGERMAIN.net. Stand-up comic, New York comic, right?
Well, I live in LA now.
You live in LA, but
yes, I was.
Welcome to Los Angeles.
8 years.
8 years right there in New York, affecting change at a grassroots
Oh my God.
level.
They called me Dan the Movement, St. Germain.
Occupy Dan St. Germain.
Right, yeah.
That was your pickup line. Oh, I'm here all week. Anyway, you have a podcast called My Dumb Friends.
Right, with Sean Donnelly.
And
you've seen him on Fox's Bread Eye. I always like to give that as his credit. He gets pissed off.
Nice. And you have a new album.
Bad at the Good Times, yeah.
Bad at the Good Times, of the stand-up comedy, of the talking out of your joke hole. So, people, check the dates at danstgermain.net. Follow him on Twitter. But let's talk about your dorkdom, which my favorite thing
Yeah.
Out of the gate, depressing literature.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while. I
What
just
does it mean? That's awesome.
I mean, I read Goldfinch just now. Have you read that? I mean,
No.
that's as depressing as you can get.
Who? What? How do I avoid
There's
it?
like,
I'm going to support you in your journey.
Right.
And
I'm
never
done.
read any
I
of
finished
these.
it. It was like
Good for you.
800 pages, too. It's like way too long. 750 pages.
Who wrote it?
This lady, I forget
Okay.
her name.
And why was it and is it just
I read it 'cause it's
slice of life?
I
or-
mean,
Oprah book,
you
books,
know, like,
book club?
just
What
like,
is it?
I mean, I don't want to blow it, but terrorist attack, drug addiction, alcoholic father. It like,
Oh, so a modern tale.
Yeah.
A tale of modern angst and
won like
disappointment.
the National Book Award. I only read that because and then I read this I'm reading Living with a Wild God right now. That Barbara. Son, the Irish. She wrote Nickel and Dimed. You know that one about being like in a minimum wage job in America. So this one's kind of depressing too.
And that's, I think, is Living with a Wild God, is that a nonfiction?
It's a memoir. It's her finding spirituality while still being an atheist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've read so much less since I moved to L.A.
Okay, just because you're driving around a lot more?
Driving a lot around. No subway was like a
No
great
subway.
time.
That'll cut down like 2 hours of reading time for sure.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
too bad. I listen to books on tape. Have you tried that at all?
I need
yet?
to do that. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but
there you go.
Not really. I have 4 podcasts I listen to.
Right, but 4 hours a week of podcasts.
Yeah.
That should be that's
Yeah, of course. Like it's like a movie podcast, a pro wrestling, a horror, and a comedy one. So it's not like you're really.
What are they? Which ones? What?
I listen to Monday Morning Podcast. I listen to How Did This Get Made. I listen to Last Podcast on the Left, and Cheap Heat.
Cheap Heat. Which
Yeah.
one's that?
That's the pro wrestling one.
That's the pro wrestling.
My buddy David Shoemaker.
Okay.
Does that on ESPN. He's great.
Monday one, that's what's his face? Burr?
Bill Burr, yeah.
All things comedy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
It's
are
over
you
there.
part of that
I'm
too?
part of that.
Me
Part of
too.
it. Oh, there you go. So go check out My Dumb Friends on allthingscomedy.com.
And this podcast.
And the Dork Forest.
Yeah.
So what brings you to depressing books, though? Why?
I mean, I think in college it was, and again, I haven't read as much lately at all, but I was just trying to think of stuff that you probably haven't talked about on this podcast.
No, we have not talked about it.
I mean, I think it's like when college I was just like, in the beginning it was cathartic, but now I feel like it's a problem. Like, for instance, I just really discovered Songs Ohio, that Jason Molina band.
No.
And
Is
it's amazing. But
it's
Songs
an album.
Ohio, Farewell Transmission. I forget what the album is called, but that's the song. And I've been listening to nothing but him the past week. And it's completely fucked me up because,
It's super depressing.
oh my God, but it's great.
And what is it? So
He died at 38 from alcoholism in Indianapolis.
Okay.
You don't get much more. Like, that's not exotic. That's not like.
no, that's
cool guy.
that's not Hunter S. Thompson.
No.
Let's figure out how Jack Kerouac did it.
Nope.
Right. Dylan, Hemingway.
No.
You know how people are always like, I want to die. You gotta be fucked up to really be a great artist. And you're like, well, you can be a great artist and then live in Indianapolis and die at 38.
Right.
That's not actually a life fulfilled.
When I went to rehab, it was like, people like, the people who looked the worst were long-term alcoholism abuse. That was like worse than meth, worse than heroin, worse than.
Oh,
Because
really?
they looked like they were 30 years older. There's a guy I thought was like 74, and he was like.
50 or something? Or?
No, he was like 36, 37.
Oh, like the shittiest looking 37
Oh my God.
ever? And it
he
was
had
just
cirrhosis.
booze?
Yeah.
Oh, he has cirrhosis.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he was on a lot of Dilaudid, I think, when I first saw him, but I don't know.
That is, what kind of drug is that?
That's not, they use that in hospitals, like painkiller stuff.
Okay.
Some real heavy shit.
Well, that's interesting. It's,
Actually, a lot of medical professionals get addicted to it.
okay, because it's a pain reliever or something?
and it's readily available in a hospital.
Okay. Here's my question. Was the first, were you Virginia Woolfing it when you were a kid?
I only read like Virginia Woolf later, and I don't think I read a lot of her, but I read Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? I think like plays,
Okay.
like Albee, and then Eugene O'Neill was a big one. And I mean, Eugene O'Neill,
is that growing up?
yeah, because they were all in my house. My dad's a playwright.
Okay.
So when I was like, that was easier too, because plays they read fast, and I was like, as much as I
Yeah, it's all dialogue,
as I
it
try to
turns out.
pretend I'm like a smart guy, I'm not.
But-
So like Long Day's Journey into Night, like the intro to that is like, oof, Jesus Christ.
Right?
It's just like him talking to his wife about how he's crying and writing this, and it's just like, ugh, it doesn't get any better.
Wow. Who wrote that?
Eugene O'Neill.
Okay,
Eugene
yeah,
O'Neill wrote
I've read no Eugene O'Neill.
He's got like a sequel because Long Day's Journey is the family, and then Moon from Lucy Godden is the brother at the end of his life.
Okay.
And it is all sad.
All sad.
Oh my God.
So your dad's a playwright in New York? Or
It was New York. He lived in LA for a little bit, like when I was a kid, writing for Suzanne Plachette and then Cosby.
right, because why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And because that's just like
That's somebody,
plays,
yeah.
except for that they're sitcoms. So talk to me briefly about. So you're growing up. Most of the books around the house are plays.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff too. But,
Right.
Yeah.
But you're drawn to the depressing stuff or the sort of slice.
Sure. Well, I think I wanted to be important, and I still want to be important. Now I don't want to be as important. Now I just want to be happy,
Right. As you plug along.
Yeah. Now it's funny how those, when I was like 12, it's like I'm going to win an Oscar. I'm going to do all this. And then
Okay.
when you get to like
Talk about the pressure of
30, and then
my
you're
dad
just
was a
going,
salesman.
eh.
There was no pressure in Hollywood at all.
Well, I think my parents loved me too much. Like they supported me too much. I wish they had said, "Hey, there's also another option."
Right, you can do whatever you want. Turns
Right.
out you want to be a plumber? You'd be really
Yeah.
good at it, I bet.
I would be manic. I'd probably just be as manic. I'd still be looking at my phone all the time, being like, "Jack got the Henderson job." I don't know why everyone says the Henderson account is like
That's
a go-to.
It's the one you
comedy
want.
one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's so yeah. I mean, I get that. I get. I think though I read the hero stuff because I wanted to be the
Yeah.
hero. So
Yeah.
you're reading.
I mean,
sort
I
of-
had comic book phase, but I didn't have it like you or Drucker or Lawrence or anything like that.
So like D.H. Lawrence. Did you ever read D.H. Lawrence?
Yeah, I read
Lady
what did I read?
Chatterley's Lover.
No,
or-
I've read a lot of his. What did I read? Fucking.
a different
I
one.
had to look it up.
A different sad sack one.
Yeah, I did. I remember that. Like, I never saw a wild thing feel sorry for itself.
Is that a line?
Fall frozen.
Yeah.
Without ever feeling sorry for itself. I remember I saw that because it was on a it was like I took a hike on mushrooms and it was like written on a bench or something crazy.
And you're like, that quote is blowing my mind.
Yeah, this is like the most pretentious podcast right now.
No, this is the way. Because the thing is all you could do is like the thing that you like.
Oh, yeah.
and it might be silly why you like
What is it? Sons and Lovers? What's that one?
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds right.
Okay.
that sounds like a book I wouldn't read. I tried because the thing
I
is,
remember I like skimmed it in college.
well, I mean, it's always so. People are such sad sacks that you're like, why? It's that I don't know what I get out of it sometimes. I mean, sometimes it can affect me, where I'm
Well,
like,
I think it's like if you
like
get
what are your
picked
favorite
on
ones?
as a kid,
Yeah, tell that story.
and then it like justifies like everything that like, well, these people speak to me, so I'll just live as this martyr,
Right.
O'Neill was a big one there. I mean, I think it's like Russell Banks. I like a lot.
Yeah, what did Russell Banks write?
He wrote like Rule the Bone, Sweet Hereafter. He wrote The Darling. He wrote Continental Divide. I think I just read a book of his short stories that are really good.
And where are they set? Are they set in the 20th century?
Yeah,
or,
well,
were they
it's kinda all
contemporary
over,
fiction?
Yeah, I mean, he has one about this. I think around the Civil War, which I haven't read.
Okay.
But most of them are contemporary. I mean,
are
like
they
he has one
family?
in Liberia.
Okay. Are they a solo guy?
No, I mean, like my favorite is The Sweet Hereafter, which was made a movie, which is just this horrible tragedy hits a town, and then it's just the town. It's a bus accident with kids in it.
Okay.
And it's just the town reacting to that. And it's all the people who are families of the kids. And
That's hilarious.
And like,
I love. You know what I'm going to read? I'm going
What?
to get a book where a bunch of kids die in the beginning, and then everyone's sad for 320 pages. After
right.
that.
Yeah. And it's like the lawyer. It's mostly like whether or not they're going to sue the company. Like that's the whole.
Okay.
And it's great.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
really good.
And so-
the movie is not as good.
Well, fair enough. That'll happen. But it's so. Is it the character development?
Yeah. I mean, they get to a point. I mean, there's one.
Because if someone
Particularly
can
the girl
write-
who gets kind of paralyzed. There's a really kind of really depressing but cool arc, I think, for her. And yeah, I'm kind of blanking on some of the other arcs for the.
No, but I mean, but an author like Russell Banks,
Yeah.
is it the fact that he can make those sad experiences real?
Yeah.
Is that what
I mean,
it is?
I guess so. Yeah.
That must
I mean,
be part of it, right?
That's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because shit happens.
Yeah.
Sad shit goes down.
Yeah.
When I cry in a book,
Yeah.
it's a romantic comedy, and there's been a misunderstanding. Oh my God, she heard that wrong.
Blankets. I read that comic book.
Oh, that blank. Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
sad
yeah.
sack comic book.
Oh, yeah.
That's
those are
we
romantic.
have that. Sure.
that
Slice
and
of life.
Black Hole. I think I read on the same week.
R. Crumb. I've
I
read
haven't
some
really
of that.
read any of that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So, but I do. I think it's what they do is they take a terrible situation.
Yeah,
And they take real people in that situation, like a Russell Banks author.
yeah,
And then what they can do is they can describe the arc of how a person might react to that, like different people.
yeah.
Are they funny sometimes?
I don't remember really Russell Banks being funny at all.
Fair enough.
I mean, one of my favorite writers is Joan Didion, which she's definitely not funny. You know,
I've
like
heard of her.
Year of Magical Thinking, and then she did a sequel to that called like Blue Nights, I feel like, or Blue Night. One was about her daughter dying. One was about her husband dying, which is one of the
And they were
Dunes.
nonfictions.
There were memoirs, and then she wrote some fiction too. She wrote like her big book was a series of nonfiction journals called Slouching Towards Bethlehem.
Okay.
And then she wrote like a bunch of like The Last Thing You Want is really good, and it's about like Iran Contra. And
Okay.
it's like a lot of I like her because she's trying to like, especially Last Thing You Wanted, play it as it lays. It's kind of like about a Hollywood star. Like a heroine who's kind of like aging, you know.
Okay.
And it's like somebody dealing with their past throughout the whole
Okay.
book.
It feels. I mean, it feels like a way that you could deal with your own shit.
Right. I don't have much shit to deal with though. I mean, most of my shit is just myself bringing on my shit.
Well, no, it's imaginary shit.
Yeah,
But-
which is a manifestation of. I mean, everybody's got it.
Right. Everybody
Yeah.
has the same thing. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
if you have a Joan Didion situation where you're like, oh, the Iran-Contra, that's just like when Bill didn't like me at, right by the water cooler or some fucking
And I think
thing.
that book too, it's like, there's important people in the book. And,
Right. But I mean, if you can extrapolate to, like, oh, this guy saw a bunch of kids die and he lived through it. Is that some of it too?
I think so. I think it's more about wanting to feel important and sad. And also there is
Are they
thing
like
about
smart
moving.
books
I
that
mean,
you're
I think
supposed
that
to read?
like some of them are, but I think like a lot of it's you want to know that you're moved,
Okay. I love that.
are able to be moved.
Yeah. I am alive.
Yeah. I think that there's definitely that. And I had
That's cool. That's fascinating. So your favorite ones are usually sort of contemporary. I mean, it's not like you're.
Yeah. I mean, I've read like Ethan Frome and like that kind of.
I wanted to cut my
really
wrist when I read it when I was 13. We had to read that.
Yeah,
we had to
that
read a
was-
separate piece.
Yeah. Oh, I read several. Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole required reading.
Right,
I
right.
read,
Lord of the Flies.
Thomas Wolfe and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And
I mean, you're already depressed when you're 13. I don't know.
yeah.
It's sort of why the Hunger Games feels better than Ethan Frome, right? For a 13-year-old.
Right,
Because
yeah.
It's sad sack and dystopian.
Well, Ethan Frome is like it's so outdated. It's just this old miserable man who
Yeah, it doesn't hold up as well as.
No,
it
it's
doesn't.
just in the end, like he dies of a carriage accident. It's like the most. I forget how it ends, but
Right. I think he does actually.
Yeah.
It's a snowy winter day.
yeah, it's a snowy winter, and then they fucking
and then people just die. I feel like people might have froze to death in it.
Yeah.
There was things happening that you're like, well, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
You're living in Philadelphia. Please don't let that happen. And so that's
but I read a bunch of like Stephen King and stuff too. And,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I've tried to read Stephen King. I've never been able to
Really, I
Yeah.
would think that would be up your
up
your
my
thing.
up my thing. But sometimes the one that I tried The Stand and it was too scary.
Well, The Stand is like, and at the end of it, it's so ridiculous. But
Yeah.
then he's got some great ones that are.
I've read his son's stuff, Joe Hill.
Oh, I did too. I read Nosferatu.
I read Lock and Key. It's a graphic novel.
I haven't read Lock and Key.
Yeah, I haven't read his prose
Nosferatu
yet.
is like
but-
a modern Dracula
okay.
thing. It's really cool.
Is it? I'll tell you, Lock and Key was super scary, but for some reason I can read a scary graphic novel, but not a scary prose.
It's interesting.
Because I think my imagination gets more engaged when I'm thinking about the prose.
Yeah, this is it's creepy. I think Joe. It's interesting. Like his son is how do I want to say this? His son is like has a better grasp of language than Stephen King. He's like almost a better writer, but Stephen King tells a better story.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's, because sometimes you're
he
like,
was probably better educated because he had Stephen King's money, and
Right, yeah, I
to
didn't even
really
think about that.
with the diagramming of sentences and the and all the big words.
Yeah, but Stephen King's still great. I thought, what's it called? I wasn't able to get through the Mr. Whatever.
Did you read 1963? Whatever.
I haven't read that. What did I read? I read the sequel to Shining, Dr. Sleep. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Dana Gould recommended that 1963 book, so I asked for it for my Christmas.
It's some guy trying to like reverse the JFK assassination, right?
Yeah, and I couldn't even start it because it was too big. I was like, I want to read this on the airplane that I'm on 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But I can't possibly do
Gotta
it.
get it on the Kindle.
No, I don't. I can't initially read something on a Kindle. Yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can reread my Heart's Content on a Kindle, but I can't.
That's interesting.
I can, and I've been thinking about just getting it on Audible and
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
trying to do it. Just
I'm gonna definitely I'm gonna read that one. That's gonna be.
Yeah, that's great. So what? Yeah. So are there? What are the plays that like? Because remember that Shepard play?
Sam Shepard, yeah, I love Shepard.
I only saw the one about the toast, about the writer.
Oh,
and
True West. Yeah,
True West.
I
That's
saw
the
it
only
with
one
Philip Seymour Hoffman and John C. Reilly. It was incredible.
My God, that's
that was
amazing.
one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah, live theater. It's easier.
It's great.
Yeah, it's hard for me to read plays as much as watch them. Mm-hmm. It's just better. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the way they were supposed to be seen. So I don't think I'm making any kind of stand here.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, if you read like Sarah Kane or Carol Churchill, I think like you can get some stuff from the page that sometimes you can't get from.
Oh, that's neat.
Because they're even how the stage directions are written.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. So because
that's really dark stuff. I mean, there's some stuff like Sarah Kane has been blasted, which I think is either about the Balkans or Bosnia. It's really fucking dark.
Really?
She's got a lot of dark shit. She killed herself, I think.
Wow, man. And then stand-up comedy.
And stand-up, sure, yeah.
It came out of all of this.
Well, I used to write, and I was writing plays. I won the Stephen Sondheim, Young Playwrights Award.
Yeah?
When I was 18, and then I got to college, and I was,
man.
well, thank you. It's been a slow downhill slope since then.
Well,
but
the problem is when you win that shit, you're like, it's hard to be proud of it, 15 years later, but you still should, I swear to God. I
should call him up because I have the original script from it, but I need to,
Yeah.
maybe if I can get a fucking award thing or something, like a printout.
You could just put it on your website.
Put it on my
My
website.
father recommends I make up awards that I won comedy contests
I just
in
want a
Brussels.
telly. I don't even know what that fucking means.
What is it?
It's like an integrated marketing with comedy award. It's like,
That does not sound real.
no,
that sounds
is
like the
not.
perfect thing.
I think I was writing for this Miller Lite web series.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it was just a ridiculous award to get.
That's an advertising writing award. Well played. Well played.
Yeah, yeah. I can go to any conference in Grand Rapids with that.
Throw it down.
Yeah.
But the Sondheim Award, that was
a big
that's
thing.
genuinely
Yeah.
a neat thing.
I was in the conference. Yeah, they did it was kind of it would kind of suck because for our year and the year before, and they would put 4 of the plays up.
Yeah.
And they did it for 2 years. They usually just do it with
So the
1
play's
year.
been put up.
Well, I got a staged reading, but then 4 people from the other play got a actual run. So I got a staged reading. So I got a couple performances.
Okay.
But I didn't get the next one, but I also did better than all the other people. So it was in the middle thing. And then I got to college and I kind of got drunk and all the plays I wrote were vaguely absurdist. And then I wrote something about the Great Depression and it was I really should have done more research. There was some great language in there, I thought.
Right.
But,
so maybe so how many plays do you have sort of sitting around that you could?
Probably 10.
Yeah.
But I really should only have 3 or 4.
of them together and make them amazing.
I'll write a new one. You know what I mean? I wrote one thing in college I was kind of proud of. And then after that, and then I kind of want to combine because I was an actor in college too.
Yeah.
So I figured combine both things. And, I really haven't written any. I mean, I wrote a serial comic movie that didn't go anywhere. But besides that, it's mostly.
And it got made?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was just a
fair enough.
screenplay.
Okay.
I've sold 3 shows. None of them got made.
Right.
So none of them gotten a pilot yet. So hopefully
you just lived off of that money like
that
a
was
person.
good. Yeah.
That
was cool.
It was like a job.
Yeah.
And
I'm not complaining.
But it's the interesting thing is that is that there's work there, you know? I mean, there's stuff to do. And were the plays that you wrote, were they comedies or were they?
No. Like,
they were super dark as well?
There were some comedies, and a lot of them weren't good. They were very...
How long have you been doing stand-up? Allow me to weed off into my own.
8.5 years.
8.5 years? And so you were like, I'm going to do stand-up.
Yeah.
From doing all of these.
Well, I did a lot of comedy
dark.
in high school. I did like sketch stuff, and I did stand-up twice. It was terrible. And then I did it once again in college, and it went pretty good, even though I was going up against actors. So, of course, I was better than they were.
The first 3 times you did stand-up?
Yeah.
Nobody. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, started doing stand-up, and he said, hey, I recorded my first YouTube, my first open mic. I put it on YouTube for you, and I was like, I'm going to do us both a favor and not watch that.
And also take it down.
You should probably take that. You should keep it and then laugh at yourself.
The only time I've heard
of
someone never bombing, and I actually believe it, is I heard Sinbad never bombed.
Not ever?
No. Which kind of makes me think
himself out of his...
Yeah, I was like, maybe that's true. It's the only... If anyone else had said...
Yeah.
Anybody else had said they never bombed, I wouldn't believe it. But for some reason, I feel like, yeah, maybe Sinbad found that ripple in time.
Right, and he's super charming, so he might have known coming out the gate how to milk the goodwill of the audience.
Right, that's what I think.
Which isn't...
Opposing to me, where it's like, I just look like I want to crash on your couch by the end of my set.
Right, you're like, no, I have to win your trust immediately.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get you another Diet Coke, if you like.
Worries.
And then, but I'm curious about this transfer from, so you did some stand-up, so you were interested in comedy.
Yeah.
But you didn't, when you wrote, it didn't come out comedically. It came out dark.
No, it came out
and sad
dramatically.
and
I remember,
dramatic.
I wouldn't know as much. I was like drunk after a breakup, and I was like, I watched like, Eddie Murphy's Raw or something. I was like, I need to do this, you know? Looking back on it now, it's very homophobic, but what are you going to do? Still
whenever I see that homophobia with comics that I like, I'm always confused. I'm like, I know that guy's a good guy. Like, did you see Top 5?
I have not seen it, no. Is there homophobia in that?
Yeah, there's an anal rape scene with a guy. A woman
weird.
jams this is a spoiler. Do you know why? Do you know why it's a spoiler? Because it's a horrible scene that I wish I had been prepared for.
Yeah.
Because there's probably 5 good scenes in the movie and probably 40 great lines, which is more than most romantic comedies, so whatever. Yeah. Rosario Dawson, her boyfriend, it comes out he might be gay. So they show a flashback of her jamming a tampon up his ass with hot sauce on it.
But how was that rape? Because he wanted it, right?
No, he did not.
Wait, what? Then why did she do it?
He wanted her, I think, to stick her thumb up his ass, and he was rude to her at dinner. So the stakes were raised super high all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden she puts hot sauce on a tampon and jams it up his ass. And then there's a physical him flopping around thing where you're like, I've been trying to figure out why Chris Rock, why?
Right.
Because Chris Rock isn't.
I guess that's a gray area as far as rape, right? I guess it's.
No, there's no gray area there.
Yeah.
That's, someone, think about you not knowing.
Yeah, I guess that would be
taking,
rape.
This item, shoving it up your ass. You didn't know it was coming and it's covered in hot sauce. Is that not offensive at all? Does that
I guess it's more assault.
Yeah, that's sexual assault. Yeah. Mostly because it's a sexual thing, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I just
no gray area there.
I guess I'm just starting to think about things that have happened to me, and I'm like, I don't want to say that was rape. Then
that you didn't ask for.
That I didn't ask for, and I'm like, let's move on from that emotionally.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No.
But what happens is when shit happens that you didn't ask for it's
I guess
at the very least
whenever it's a girl
assault.
and a guy, when it's a girl doing it to a guy, I'd never.
Right, then it's just comedy.
That's the problem.
Yeah, because it wasn't funny.
Because but it's fucked up. But I wouldn't feel as bad for my guy. If that happened to you, I would feel terrible. But if it happened to like Sean Donnelly, I would think it was kind of funny, which is fucked up.
Right. It isn't okay.
I'm not gonna.
But the thing is
justify it.
And the fact that Sean Donnelly may be crying. And just lying there.
Why am I laughing?
You're just like, oh man, walk it off, fucker.
Walk it off. That's true. I also have bad. I think I've.
And if that guy would have turned around and beat the shit out of that woman, he would have, the audience would have turned on him. But
Right.
the thing is,
Would you have turned on him?
No. I wanted him to punch her in the goddamn face.
Really?
Yeah. Which I don't believe in hitting at all. I don't believe in jamming shit up my ass either. But if it was consensual, I'm all for it. You know, if you know it's coming, shall we say? Yeah. So that, I mean, it was the weirdest scene in that movie.
Right.
It pulled me. It totally took me out of that movie. Going, what the hell just happened to this romantic comedy?
Right.
And I was trying to figure out, because I love Chris Rock. I genuinely think he's smart, funny, empathetic. And I don't think he's particularly homophobic, and I don't think he's particularly anything on purpose, right? Yeah. So I think he was like, I think there's supposed to be one of these physical things in this movie. You know, like The Hangover?
I mean, you can look at that any way you want. I mean, there's just going to be bad stuff in every movie you don't like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just, like.
2 weeks notice. There's something bad in 2 weeks notice.
I haven't seen 2 weeks notice.
No one should. Yeah, it's a perfectly innocuous. Yeah. Kate and Leopold, there's nothing wrong with that movie.
Right. There's nothing wrong. That's also not good, right?
It's just adorable.
It's just adorable.
From the beginning to the end. It's
just, I think what happens is we get so wrapped up in like how good the good parts are that if there's anything bad that it's glaring. But you know, I mean,
and I don't want
to figure it out. Too.
He is totally
as
just
a director, maybe not as a stand-up, but as a director.
As a director, completely.
Right.
It's like when somebody said that it was his Annie Hall. I said, don't make him. Yeah, don't raise the bar that high. Right. Because I genuinely like Annie Hall.
Yeah, Annie Hall's great. It's a perfect movie.
It's almost perfect, and this thing is not.
What do you think is not perfect about Annie Hall?
I don't have anything not perfect about Annie Hall.
Perfect.
It's one of the. I don't think there's a bad scene.
I think the only thing that's imperfect is that how many probably shitty female characters Diane Keaton's great character in that launched. The Magic Pixie Dream Girl. It almost like because she's really grand and great, but then they try to do it in every movie again, and it was like, ugh, all right,
right. I mean, it's like Shawshank Redemption. There's not a bad scene in Shawshank Redemption.
I've only seen bits and pieces, so
right. It's a very simple movie.
Yeah.
As is Annie Hall.
Yeah.
But they're both kind of perfect in the way that there isn't a bad scene in it. But Chris Rock, that's like his second movie. Did you see Good Hair?
No, I heard that was good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's not.
It's not his second, I don't think. I think he had
something else too?
Something in the middle there, yeah.
Okay. So.
I think I Love My Wife. I think that was it.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, the guy's working on it. But I'll tell you this about top 5. The other thing, Rosario Dawson, the only actor. Everyone else,
is a
comic or a musician.
God, she's so smoking.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
She is the only one who is actually living the words.
In the scene.
Yeah. And everyone else
I think it's very hard with comics. And I've become way shittier of an actor because of comedy. Like with comics, almost every comic I've seen. With the exception, I think there's some good ones, good comedic actors. I think like Louis is one of them. I think like Oswald is close, you know.
Well, you have to... but they learned on camera.
It's good. Yeah, they're good. They're all good. Like Patton Oswalt, Louis C.K. is really good, or like Bamford's really good. But like, I can't like a lot of the times when you see comedians act and shit, you see them like thinking about what they're saying, you know?
Right. Because they're not living the organic sort of acting part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the greatest. I said this on the Comedy Film Nerds podcast, which is, I can't stand Matthew McConaughey. I don't like him.
Right.
But I think the guy's an empty vessel, and you can pour a script into him, and he'll become whoever you want.
You didn't like True Detective?
No, I can't watch it.
It's great.
I know. I understand there's a lot of really
wonderful
work going on out there.
And I didn't love him before that, but
it's I could I'm okay. He's, as far as I'm concerned, he's the rich man's Woody Harrelson, and Woody Harrelson.
Well, Woody Harrelson's in True Detective.
Right. They're in it together, and he bugs me. And
come on,
I know
great.
it.
They're both great.
I know it. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
But and I know I'm wrong.
It is a very guy show, though.
It's fine. There's stuff that I want to watch, but I haven't been able to. So, but it's you were also saying that you kind of like serial killers.
Oh yeah, I watched that. That's become a problem.
What is it? Is there TV shows about serial? I mean, there's Dexter.
You know, I got
Isn't
really
that
in my
over?
last breakup. I think I got really into it in April. This whole year.
What have you been watching or reading?
Nothing but YouTube documentaries about it. I mean,
Oh, really?
yeah, I read like trash. I've been reading trash about it. Like I got really into
Like
that
Bigfoot
last
level
podcast
trash?
on the left is really great. It's Henry Zabrowski and Ben Kissel's podcast. So I would like listen to those and I would like start like I blame them. Henry's a friend of mine. We've worked together. It's so weird when you get into something that's your friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I started like just going on this rabbit hole of like every night before I go to bed, I'll watch like a serial killer documentary.
How is that affecting your sleep?
Not great. I gotta say.
Oh my
I think
God, that's hilarious.
Cigarettes are far worse, but
Yeah.
not great. No,
So
not healthy.
But how can there be, you know, I've had Michelle McNamara been on the program a couple of
Yeah.
times, and she does truecrimediary.net where she's
Yeah.
trying to find
I would love to get on that
I don't think she has a
podcast. Yet?
podcast. So I think she did 2 or 3 episodes and then,
Yeah.
but all she does is research to try to find these people. And I think she had a meeting to have a TV show.
Yeah.
But I think she more just wants to research these people and see if she
Yeah.
can figure out who the Zodiac killer was. And
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's probably Arthur Lee Allen, like from all the physical evidence, but
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Who is that?
he was the guy. He was the first suspect, and then they said his writing didn't match, and there was
Okay.
like or I forget what the reason
Or technicalities
was.
or?
There's a lot of technicalities, but you know, I don't know. Zodiac's like my favorite movie. It's like top 5 favorite movies. So
Okay.
love
So, and
that.
that's a fictionalized account of it, right?
well, not really. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's like it's as much as a fictionalized thing as any.
Oh, it's
is any
more of a
movie.
reenactment.
Yeah, it's a movie, you know,
But
so.
it's factually correct as to what
Yeah,
facts
it's, you know,
they
it's
have.
like Lincoln or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it's like, it's,
Yeah.
you know,
A biodrama.
yeah.
And I'm opening up a sea salt.
What does it say?
Dark chocolate. So you have to say it in a pirate dark voice.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's sea salt. Arr! Think of something that makes you smile, matey. And
That's not too dark.
That's not too dark. But if you said a dark promise in a dark voice,
Oh, then
then it becomes dark.
well, yeah, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
that then I really should sleep in late tomorrow. That's what
I don't know what you should do with the peppermint bark ones, though. We haven't figured out what.
Explore your sexuality. I feel like, I don't know, that would be what a peppermint chocolate was.
So when you what are you doing? Go to YouTube and just type in
Oh
the
my
word
God!
serial
Yeah, there's
killer?
a ton of stuff that you can watch. I mean, I could tell you that the guys. Well, I got really into like the big like John Wayne Gacy. I think is like if a stand-up comedian was going to become a serial killer, it would be John Wayne Gacy.
Was he a stand-up comic?
No, but like
Was he
the
a serial killer?
personality. Yeah,
No, he's
yeah.
he's a
he
serial-
killed about 32, I think, to 34.
Where?
In his house, in his basement. He would bury him in his basement. It was
What city?
It
Boston?
was in no, it was in
No.
Wisconsin, I think, or
No.
Chicago.
No, we have Ed Gein.
I'll look it up.
We have Ed Gein
No,
and
Ed Gein- Ed Gein-
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, okay.
Those are our
I think it was
two-
Chicago. Then let me look it up right now because it's going to drive me nuts. But I think he was kind of but what's crazy about him was he is like one of my favorite lines, which is ever
yeah?
when they discovered like 32 bodies in his house. He said, "I am not guilty of murder. The only thing I'm guilty of is running a mortuary without a license." And
Oh
I
my
thought that
God.
was like the most amazing fucking thing that I've ever heard
That is great.
in
That's,
my entire life.
Remember that story about that guy who's on stage in like Kansas or whatever? And
Yes, Chicago. Sorry.
oh, the
Yeah.
Chicago guy.
Yeah.
And he's got blood coming out of his nose.
Chicago. I don't know why I didn't think of
And it's dripping on his shirt. And the audience is staring at him, and finally he wipes his nose. He looks at his hand and he goes, "Well, you people don't party here?" And you're like, "You need some help, brother." And so that's it's from the '80s. Anyway, when a lot more coke was being done.
There's a lot. Yeah, I heard. I forget who I was talking to. I just did Zanies in Chicago. That's why I can't believe I didn't remember it.
right? Because John Wayne Gacy, right there from Chicago.
He's right there from Chicago, and
Was-
he's
did
got
he
the
live
most
in the
Chicago
city or
personality.
Chicago
He was like
land?
the suburbs around suburbs. I don't know
The
why.
suburbs?
Suburbs around suburbs. I'm from the suburbs, but it was around Chicago, and he was just obviously. As Dave Hill would say, a little much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
32 women that they found.
32 boys for the most part. Like,
Oh.
I think boys, like 15, 16, and then
Young
to
men.
20. Early, so he
Okay.
would hire them for his construction company, and then he would do something called the rope trick, which he was he was a clown too. So that's his thing. He was dressed as a
He
clown.
was a performer.
Yeah, he was a performer. He was a clown.
All this is vaguely
And then
coming
they would
back to
get
me.
like, he's like, "What's the rope trick?"
and then that's
he
how
would
he
just
would-
like put the ropes, and he goes, "All right, what the kid would be like? What's the trick? Is trick is you're fucked," and then he would just strangle him to death.
Wow. Now, do they know that he said that? Like, did anyone live from him? Or?
That's what he would say. I guess, like, you know, 'cause he's one of those guys. A lot of these serial killers, they'll like admit to shit and then they'll take it back, and then they'll,
Okay.
because they're
Yeah.
you know fucking psychotics. And
Right, they're a mess. it
They
turns
want to
out.
like they
That's-
want to take credit, and then all of a sudden they realize like, oh, maybe I can get out of jail.
Maybe I can undo the words, they're a mess. Because
Yeah.
that's how I describe somebody who,
Yeah,
is-
I'm a mess.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I've been a mess.
Right.
That's not a mess. That's psychopathic crazy talk.
right. I you know, like Gacy, Bundy. I don't think there was any help.
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. You couldn't
Where's
help
he from?
those
Was he
guys.
Boston?
He was
East Coast?
Colorado,
Oh.
in California, I think.
So wrong.
Then Florida. I know his last massacre was in Florida.
And
That-
he did multiple killings at a time?
Well, he had his rampage phase at the end where he went into a sorority and killed like 4 of them.
4 people?
Because he got out. He was a very charming guy. But I don't think that you could have helped like Ted Bundy or John Wayne Gacy. I think you could have helped like Jeffrey Dahmer, because he's burned from Warrington from not. He died in but where did he?
Ted Bundy, are you talking
This is
about?
Ted Bundy. But like I think that like I think that like he was one of these guys. Dahmer. He could have like, if he was on medication, he
Right.
maybe could have been okay, because a lot of it was so tied in. Because he didn't like murdering people. He liked
Eating people?
He liked sleeping with. He couldn't be intimate with another man.
Okay.
So only if the person was murdered could he hold him.
Oh, weird.
Could he be with him? Yeah. Yeah.
That's why he would kill these young Asian men, because he wanted to cuddle?
Yeah.
And then he would like, he
Well,
would
he's trying to
cuddle
make one
with
his
the
love
body?
zombie. Yeah. You're trying to make love zombie.
How so?
He would
do you make someone a
Washington.
zombie?
He tried to drill a hole in his head and put some sort of like medicine, like
Goo in it or
goo
something
in
to
it,
bring
yeah,
him back
and
to
then-
life or something?
Yeah, or Washington. Mostly it was Washington, I guess.
Are you talking about Ted Bundy
Ted
again?
Bundy? Sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
I forget what he did. He drilled a hole in his head, and I guess he read that he could like. If he put in I forget what he put in there, but that he could like keep the guy alive.
Right.
And like make him do whatever he said. But he kept the guy alive a little bit, like that Asian guy who stumbled out. But he obviously, the zombie thing was crazy. So.
Is that how they caught Jeffrey Dahmer? Is some
They
Asian
let
guy
him
stumbled
come
out?
back. That's the craziest part of it. Like the way that the police were there, I guess, was that like they saw this naked Asian stumbling guy walking down the hallways that Dahmer had drugged and like fucked with.
Right.
And then Dahmer came out and they were about to arrest the Asian guy. Dahmer came out and he goes, "Officer, I'm so sorry. He's with me. I won't." And then the officer was like, "All right, just bring him home." And then Dahmer killed him after that.
Wow.
So he let him back in. The reason he got caught is because his fucking apartment started to smell like dead bodies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the cops were there for something else.
And these serial killers, mostly white dudes, right?
No, there's a
Are
lot
there-
of black guys. I think there's more black guys. Just like one of those things. Like that's the one thing white guys get stereotyped with. I think there's more white guys, but there's black serial killers too.
Well, I mean, it's open to everyone. I think.
Yeah, like what's
that's
his
sort of
fucking
insane.
name?
Is there Asians? Is there a
No, I don't know many
subcontinent
for
of
Asians.
India?
There's probably Asians. Well, there's Chinese serial killers, but because it's like a communist country, or I guess not even a communist, but like a, it's a totalitarian. I don't know what you would call it, but like a lot of the stuff. That's why like like in Russia, the Andrei Chikil, whatever the guy, the fucking chessboard killer there, he didn't get caught forever because that's just not something they were going to admit there. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of the times it really depends on, because if you have a country that doesn't value the individual, you
Right.
know, like then they're like, well then, that's impossible that this individual went crazy and like,
Okay.
so which is kind of nuts.
But when they catch him, like in
Or
a
they put
totality,
him to death.
they just kill him.
Yeah,
Right.
well, they put him on trial and put him to death. And
Okay.
to be fair, I'm against
And that
the
was a
death penalty,
Russian?
but fair probably in that case,
Well, I'm not gonna mourn the guy.
Yeah.
And but I mean, I don't know how to fix that.
Right.
So, there were Soviet or Russian serial killer, a chessboard killer.
Yeah, it was.
Why
Andrei
was that?
Chikil. I forget why now. I
I mean, besides a nutbag, but did he play chess? Is that why they called
I
him?
totally forget. They kind of like. I guess I know less about serial killers than I do.
Right.
I'm
about
really
plays.
and from this podcast, What you could tell is that I'm a great first date.
Well, you know what? The thing about the Dork Forest is that everyone has a lot of information, and then it all fades out, and you're like, now I'm just guessing on the thing that I love a lot, which is fair enough, I say.
Yeah, I'm trying to Andre Chikatilo. Why was he called? Wait, was he called the Forest Strip Killer? Then who was the fucking chessboard killer? Was that? I'm sorry. No, that he was the Butcher Russo. Who was the chessboard killer? I fucked that up.
Oh well, don't worry about
chessboard. Well, now I'm like, I got to find the chessboard killer. This is the problem when you do a podcast about stuff you like. Then it's like
now you're obsessed.
You're not
like,
even thinking about being interesting.
More.
You're like, I need to.
You're
fucking
like, now I actually
chessboard
need to
killer.
figure out.
Sorry, that was Alexander Pushkin. Okay, and the chessboard killer said his aim was to kill 64 people, the number of squares on a chessboard. And I forget how
what
many
year.
weeks we
What
got
was
to.
what was his lifespan?
That was
he was
he
born.
is still alive.
Oh really?
No, did he die? No, he's not died. He was date apprehended was 2006. He is age 40. His victims are anywhere from 48 to 60.
So he wasn't a
Russian serial killer.
He was just looking for numbers. How many did he get
Yes.
to out of 64? Did he get
well,
to kill
he said
64?
He's believed to have killed at least 49 people and possibly as many as 60. So,
All right. Well, so he didn't make it, so he can't do that move where you move your rook and your king to opposite sides because he didn't have all the pieces.
Yeah, he got life in prison with the first 15 years to be spent in solitary confinement, which you must go insane after that.
Yeah, you're insane to begin with, and then they stick you in solitary, which is actually against the Geneva Convention. So,
right,
that's crazy. Now, conspiracy theory.
64 people, though.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe you lost your
marbles before
your
going
dignity.
in.
Maybe, yeah. It really depends because that's like a crazy question. Because I'm pretty liberal. But like, I'm always like, I think it depends on the serial killer. Because some people like this vampire the vampire Sacramento, the guy who was went on like a 4-day where he was like drinking baby's blood and shit. He was like doing vampire shit. But because it was like 4 or 5 days in a row and it was a clear psychotic break, I'm willing to say, okay, that's a guy who probably, shouldn't be treated with solitary confinement. He probably should be medicated and maybe, like rectified.
Maybe you could
but
fix
a guy
that so
who
that
kills 60 people over a 20-year span and does it methodically.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe fuck you. You know what I mean?
That's not a.
Maybe that's like a not like then if you're able to keep your shit together that long, then that's kind of where I'm like, well, fuck you then. Like maybe then that's a different situation. You know what I mean?
It certainly seems like a different situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean. I've never been interested in murderers, so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't ever think about like
Derek
the psychology.
Sheen's really into it too, and
what's the psychology of the different people who murder? Right?
I mean, I think it's all different. I mean, I think that you can have like, like if you have somebody who's going through like, for instance, if you like the guy who shot up the Denver movie theater, the guy who shot up Virginia Tech, like that's a clear psychotic break.
Right, the kid who shot up Santa Barbara.
It all depends. Like, because then you think like, well, maybe we could have helped these people. And then maybe not, but then you learn about like the guys from like Columbine, for instance. I read that book Columbine, which is great. I really recommend it. It came out years after it. I forget who wrote it now, but Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. I forget which one, but like there's a clear, I guess like with those two, like one of the guys was going through manic depression. He was having a psychotic break. He could have been helped,
right?
And the other guy was a sociopath and just wanted to do it. And they were both, and he was popular too. And that's what some people don't forget. Everybody, that whole trench coat mafia thing was bullshit.
Okay.
Like these kids were like, they weren't the most popular, but they weren't by any means picked on.
Right. They weren't outcasts.
No, but one was going through some serious psychological, and the other one was a fucking sociopath.
Right.
So, and how can you really help? I don't think you can help somebody who's in that category. Like, that's really I think that there's like, some people, like, it's like that Dark Knight thing. Like, some people just want to watch the world burn. Like, some people, they can come from a good family. It doesn't fucking matter. I feel like that there's some people who are just born without that empathy gene or something.
Right. I don't know. I think that, I mean, there's but the different kinds of murder, like there's murders that are just crimes of passion, one off.
Right.
You've killed somebody.
Yeah.
There's an American Sniper guy. That guy's just doing his job, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, his job was to shoot people, right?
Right, yeah.
And so
you realize he was also psychotic. Like when you look more into that guy.
Well, I don't.
Just a complete fucking liar. But
well, yeah, I don't know anything about that guy. All I know
he
is
lied about shootouts that he was having.
But anybody
Yeah.
who is a sniper, right?
Well, yeah, it's like, well, if you even look at like, Vietnam, like the massacres that they had over there, and you talk to those people and you think of all the fucked up shit they did, and then you talk to them afterwards and you're like, they're like normal. And it's like, I was at a time where I was forced to do this.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's willing to bend at that point. But,
Right,
like if you're put under
surrounded
stress,
by people
yes.
that
your
have there's you're 19 years old and from the top down you have this horrible role model that is telling you that it's okay to rape and that it's okay to murder and it's and children and women and
Child
unarmed,
soldiers, yeah.
anybody, right?
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot of psychology to it, which has
Yeah.
got to be kind of fascinating. But the serial killer thing, especially over time,
Yeah.
like sometimes they catch them and sometimes they don't, right?
No, I'm sure there's, like if you look at like the Lost Highway or that like highway in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
Where like, like tons of women disappear,
Okay.
Like they probably haven't caught a lot of those guys.
All right. I don't know about, is it like, I hear that like they lose people at the Appalachian Trail over on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like
well,
people go on like, and yeah, maybe they get killed and hidden somewhere and you think that might be a serial killer or is that just?
So many people do. Well, the FBI doesn't keep a missing, persons report, like children's report, or I feel like that's it. They don't keep like a because I think the number would be fucking daunting. I'm gonna fact check myself.
That's not a thing. Is like if the missing people per state, or they don't do a national list, or they don't do.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now. FBI.
It sounds like a good idea not to do a national list if you don't want a giant panic attack.
Yeah, I guess, but it's also like,
it's like the national ID card. Everyone's like, why? Because I got a DUI in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah,
and then I got a DUI in Minnesota, and then I got a DUI here. But it was counted as a first DUI in both states.
Oh, that's great.
Because it worked out for me. And because they're not connected. Because it's not a national ID
Yeah, you're
system.
a double achiever. You're an overachiever. I'm trying to find this fucking, if I'm right on this, missing people list. I'm sure you'll have people fact check me.
Well, no, there's someone yelling at the thing right now.
Right,
and it's all good. And feel free to email me, Jackie@JackieCation.com.
Yeah, let me know I'm an asshole. Just tweet at me. I'm wrong.
And and the thing is you want to know what's right. You want to know if you are right, or you're wrong,
right?
So
100%.
it's all either way. I don't get a lot of my self-esteem whether or not I've said the correct thing about the FBI.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but murder is so weird to me, just because, like I don't know anybody myself who's ever murdered someone. I met a murderer once. There was a guy who was at the Stillwater prison in Minnesota, and I worked at a t-shirt shop called Northern Sun Merchandising, a little hippie skippy t-shirt catalog in Minneapolis, and he started the bonsai program at the Stillwater Maximum Security Prison in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And there was an article and so he had an article in the Star Tribune right next to that article about Northern Sun. So he started calling our 800 number.
Yeah.
And talking to the hippies who were stoned all the time. And they're like, dude, you're in jail? What happened, man? And Bill Dye, that was his name, D-Y-E. And he was like, political prisoner, man. And then it came out that he had killed a pizza delivery man.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know what's political about that, brother.
Yeah. Domino's is run by the.
Yeah, but whatever. But we everybody, before I started working there, everybody had gone to visit him. Like everybody who worked there, like in twos, had gone. And so my friend Maureen Fitzpatrick was like, I've never gone because I've never had anyone to go with. I'm not going by myself. And I was like, all right, I'll go. And nice guy gave me a bonsai tree. And I killed it within a week. Very sad. Very sad. Man, it was beautiful.
In a way, in all ways, you're just like him then.
How weird is it that he started a bonsai tree program in a maximum security prison where the purpose of bonsai trees is to shape and bend and control until you stunt and deform a tiny tree.
Thought about it that way.
Yeah, I did.
Sure, he just thought they were cool, but
I never thought of it that way until I got one from a guy in a maximum security prison. And I was like, I see what's happening here.
I know one murderer. He's a close friend.
Yes.
He killed somebody. but he had to do it. So it wasn't like a.
It was
And he doesn't
self-defense.
feel bad. Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't feel bad about it either because he was just like, it was him or me.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a fascinating thing because television is entirely about murder.
Yeah.
My video game that I'm playing right now on Facebook is entirely about murder.
What is it?
Criminal case. And it's it's better than it has any right to be. I've been playing it for about a year.
Yeah.
And it's a hidden object game. It should be like middle-aged white lady shit.
Yeah.
But it's being written by a couple of the darkest, obviously 23-year-olds in the world.
Yeah.
And they're killing off characters that I've gotten to know through the 50 stupid hidden object case
Are you
things that I've
getting
done.
bummed out when they get killed
The
off?
first one that died, I was like, what the fuck? Did you just kill the cheerleader? And now they killed the police chief and this sad sack poor kid who wanted to hang out with all the rich kids.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what is happening? And now we're back in time, 1642.
Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of nonsense
There's a lot
going
on
for no money. It makes me want to. I don't want to buy shit because once you buy something in a freemium game like that, as soon as you do it, it flips a switch in the game that ratchets the game up to make it harder.
Oh, it flips a switch in yourself.
No, it's an actual programming.
Yeah?
Yeah, because once you've spent money once, well, now we're just negotiating, aren't we? You're caught. You're in the game.
Yeah.
So once
Can't
you
do that.
spend a penny on Candy Crush,
It's over.
it goes from medium to hard. The level. So I can't do it. It's already hard enough. I'm committed and I don't want to spend any, but I would have given them.
I am so glad that like video games stopped being my thing because I have such an addictive personality.
Yeah.
I'd be lost.
Well, I, for a long time, didn't play them at all.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, fine, I'll get a Game Boy. I'll play one Zelda game every 2 years. It'll be fine. I'm currently playing 4 video games.
Oh my God.
And they're all just shitty kind of,
Right.
iPad-y kind of things, right?
Yeah.
I play Criminal Case on the iPad and Facebook. I play a Bejeweled Frozen thing, which is like Candy Crush or Bejeweled. And it's called Free Fall. It's a Frozen thing. I'm playing the first Final Fantasy Legend, which I got iPad mods for the first 6 episodes. And then I also have Tap Simpsons. It's essentially Farmville, but rude. And so it makes me laugh. But the time commitment is bullshit. And I'm actually losing sleep. So I'm not psyched about it.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that.
Yeah, it turns out I might have an addictive personality too.
Yeah, you think so?
So the new Alien movie's coming out. Let's close on that, brother. Yeah, let's close on that.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to it.
I'll get back.
First
I'll get
off,
you back.
I know when people always get pissed off at this. I didn't think Alien 3 was bad. I know
Okay.
everybody hates it. I didn't think Alien 4 was bad. I don't think you can
How
explain
many
it.
aliens? I only saw
There's-
aliens with an S.
Well, there's Alien 1, there's Alien 2, there's Alien 3, there's Alien 4. Aliens and Alien 1 are clearly the best. Alien 3 I think is pretty good, which a lot of people
Is it called
will.
Alien 3?
Yeah, it's called Alien 3.
Because Alien.
Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection.
Okay.
And then there's
There's a new one coming.
Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator Requiem,
Okay.
and now there's Predators, then there's the whole Predator series.
Right.
And then there was Prometheus, 2 years ago, which was
Okay.
a prequel to Alien.
Oh, wow.
So there's been a lot. And
Has any of them followed the life cycle of the alien and have using them as the hero?
no,
and the
I think
people?
there's a video game that you can be the alien.
Oh, that's awesome.
And like I think it's like Aliens versus Marines or some shit like that. 'Cause Aliens is the best. That's the best one.
The second one?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's the only one I've seen.
That's great.
It was actiony, but also scary.
Yeah.
And the first one's just fucking scary.
First one's just scary.
Yeah.
First one's very slow and methodical.
and horror.
And horror. And pure horror.
Yeah.
Well, because it's so hard to make whatever your monster is look scary. And I think like Alien is so amazing at that. It came from a guy's nightmare, But a lot of times it's really hard.
really?
Yeah, a lot of times it's really hard. Like, it's even like, I had a lot of fun, even though it's like the dialogue is so cheesy, but that one, The Strain, that show that was on, I was watching that, and it's really, it's fucking cheesy, the
Right.
dialogue. It's like, it's really, but like, then they revealed, like, the first time you saw the vampire, and it looked cool.
Yeah.
But it also looked, like, kind of ridiculous. Like, I laughed as soon as I saw him because he's this huge...
Yeah.
And just him making motions wasn't scary for some reason. It was kind of funny. I don't
Okay.
know, but it looked really cool. But
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's just really hard. And Alien's one of the only ones that's like, in almost every like monster that's like the Cloverfield monster. Like I feel like they've all been kind of like variations of that Alien thing.
Okay.
You know, where it's like half insect, half reptile. It's like a weird combo.
I remember watching the first season of Buffy and actually being kind of creeped out by the vampires and the monsters.
Yeah, I think the problem with Buffy though is that a lot of the vampires started to look the same. So,
almost.
And then you're like, all right, I'm desensitized now.
Well, yeah, which is and she could kill like 4 of them.
Yeah, yeah,
and it was fine.
And then they, and then they all kind of ripped it off from Wasp Boys too. I feel like that look.
Oh, that sort of Dark-sidery look.
Yeah.
It was
Lost Boys. I love too.
Did you love that movie?
Yeah.
It's what was the all I remember is that they all had bikes.
They all had bikes,
and Kiefer Sutherland was in it.
And the best part of it is they're on like the beach because I forget what it is, and it's in Santa Barbara or Santa Cruz.
Yeah,
I forget where it is. And they're like watching a concert on this beach, and then this like. And this like I'm on board. I'll mark out every time this happens. But a beautiful man with like long hair and shirtless just jumped on stage and started playing saxophone.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just think that's the funniest fucking thing. Like, because in Tina Turner's You're Simply the Best video.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, it's like her dancing, and then there's a horse. It cuts to her and a horse and the muscles of a horse. So you're wondering, like, is this her sexuality? Is this a guy's sexuality? You know, it's clearly sexual and it's empowering too.
Yeah.
It's not like demeaning.
Sure.
But then in the middle of it, another shirtless guy literally runs onto the middle, plays saxophone, and then runs back off. Like those 80s ones or early 90s, like Carly Simon, the Working Girl theme song.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite things too in a music video. She's singing on like the Staten Island Ferry, which already should be gross. But then it comes to the guitar solo, and there's a guy that's been reading a newspaper the whole time.
Yeah.
And then he just flips over the newspaper and he's got a guitar and he starts playing it. I love that. They don't make music videos like that anymore. They're all just like sexy or dark now.
You know what I like to do at minute 56? Find out that you love fucking music videos. So what are you?
Wait, you said 56?
Yeah, we've been doing. We're almost at an hour.
Oh,
we're almost done.
Oh, I think you meant you're 56, and I was like, what?
Oh no, not yet. One day,
One day,
and for the rest of my life, because I will never age beyond 56. I'll just keep telling people I'm just 56. Because other people pick 29, other pick 40.
It's weird in LA. LA almost has like that Eastern European girl thing where I feel like once you hit a certain age, then there's no turning back. But you can look pretty young until then.
Oh right.
But then once you hit it. Then you just look like a character
70?
actor at Mel's Drive-In. Like, have you ever been to Mel's Drive-In in the morning? And it's all these just
or Dupar's.
faces that look like
you're
Dick
talking
Tracy villains, you know?
Oh, are you saying the sort of the tight, wet thing?
Yeah, the tight, wet, and the character actory, like the big noses from drinking too much. And
okay, because what I like is and maybe you haven't been here in Los Angeles long
No, I
enough,
haven't.
but if you go see a lot of theater, that's where the old people are.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Old
theater in
people
New
are-
York, too.
Yeah, that's where they're all. And the thing is once they hit around 65, they're still very fit, these men and women,
Yeah.
but they let their hair go white.
Yeah.
And they're just wearing $1,000 worth of clothes, and they look amazing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but you are clearly 70 years old.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of scary. I was like trimming my beard.
There's something about 50
And I
that
found a bunch
drives
of
people
grays.
crazy. Oh, yeah? Well,
Yeah.
that'll happen.
But it's like underneath it, so you can't, it's almost like I lift it up, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know if you can see it yet.
I can't see it. No.
But it's
But
in
the
there.
aging process, it is inexorable.
They're in there.
Yep,
There's no turning back.
Yeah, there's something about being like 44 to about 55 where you're like, I'm gonna reject this,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna always be 37.
It's
and
the
you're like,
golden,
nope.
yeah, it's like that gloaming period, you know?
Yeah, Maria's doing a great. Bamford's got a great bit about how
She always has
she's-
some great bit.
Yeah, it's just about plastic surgery and how they're like, you can like we can make you puffy, we
Yeah.
can make you tight, we can make you wet, or we can make you shiny.
Right.
What would you prefer? And she's like, can I get puffy and wet? And they're like, yes. And she's thinking of just getting herself made into a 3-pound pyramid of flesh and having her eyes removed. And she'll still be her. Don't think she won't be her.
Yeah, she'll still be her.
Why-
You know, it is weird because, like, some people have had plastic surgery and look amazing. So that's, I think,
Yeah.
like, that's what hooks
That's
the
what
suckers in.
Right. That's
You
what
know?
that's what everyone aspires to. They're
Yeah.
like, you really don't look 57 years old. You genuinely look 42
And then
years
you
old.
just get a good one. You don't know. You don't
Yeah.
know if this but then all of a sudden.
It's like tattoos.
You fuck up and you're Meg Ryan, you know?
or
it's like
or anybody. I like. There's
or
just
Mickey
like
Rourke.
I saw Morgan Fairchild one time, and all I could think was, did someone get plastic surgery to look like Morgan Fairchild? They did not. It was Morgan Fairchild. She looked like a fucking patchwork quilt.
Oh my God.
It was unfortunate. But let's end on that positive
Well, I
note.
just wanted to bring up a double standard, too, that I remember, because you were talking about that anal rape thing. And
let's close on the anal rape, ladies and gentlemen.
This is something, too, that's because I remember, it was, I don't know if it was Gawker or if it was,
TMZ,
some shit,
bullshit.
Some thing that you get up in a pop-up ad on Facebook. But they were they had all these clips of Ben Affleck's dong in Gone Girl. And I'm like, if they did that with if a dude website had that, there'd be a blog written about, I mean, they do that with Mr. Skin. But it would be
Skin?
It's all just the celebrity nude things.
Okay.
Which I've got on, but,
But
if they did that,
shots
if they did that, they have an article about it where I was like, if this was the girl, there would be how dare you, all this other shit,
Right, but usually they would just, I mean, it isn't fair. It's, you know what?
Yeah.
Men get raped. There's some, I was reading, I went to donate blood, and there was a thing that said, have you ever been incarcerated for more than 72 hours? And all I could think was, if you know what is happening at 71 hours, fucking stop it, you assholes. And it just means that you get raped in the first 72 hours that you're in prison. Yeah. So you're like, well, it isn't okay. Please stop attacking people. And it isn't funny that men get raped. And the prison rape jokes.
Although the dirty work scene is actually pretty funny.
I don't know what that is, but I bet you it isn't.
Norm Macdonald. And
the thing is here's my thing.
You got to watch it.
Okay.
Here's why it's fun. For some reason, it's
I'm just
funny
saying it's been covered.
because you don't see the rape, and he comes back, and he does the Norm thing where something really awful happens. He goes, "That was ridiculous. The worst part is waste my time." Or whatever it is. He goes, all right, that's the second worst part. It's Norm.
Right.
It's he'll describe a serial killer, and then he'll be oh, what a jerk that guy is. I don't know why that makes.
That's a pretty good impression of Norm. No, I'm not saying that there can't be funny prison rape jokes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying 98% of them right now, it's been covered, my friend.
You probably shouldn't,
Well, it isn't. And if you can do it, please.
Right.
Keep writing, my friend. If out there, if you are trying to write the perfect male rape, prison, drop the soap, hilarity, you go.
Right.
You got some butt talk.
Have one
you knock yourself
rape
out.
Joke,
Well, I just got an email from. I did a blog about a year ago about Adam Richman attacking that waitress in the Mall of America.
Oh, yeah, I've never met that guy.
Me neither. But I'm a Minneapolis comic. So, and I was there the week after it happened.
Right.
And
what,
so
did he try to, fuck her and then she just beat the shit out of him? Was that the
No,
thing?
no. They were both drunk.
Yeah.
He said, he kept hitting on her and she was like, no. So he pulls his dick out and shoves it in her face. And he's like, just suck it. Just suck it.
Yeah.
And then he's pushing her and she's like, get off of me. And she tries to kick him. And he's like, you should like me because you're just a waitress. I'm a comic, which is the hackiest rape line I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
Anyway, so I write a blog about it, right? About how it's disappointing because there are hundreds of decent men who don't act horrible that I personally know.
Right.
And they get made fun of by guys like Adam Richmond for being pussies and they're like, what are you a woman? Is that why you're nice to women? Because you're a woman? And so I wanted to encourage not raping and guys being decent, right?
Yeah.
So I wrote this blog, and then he was acquitted in the Minnesota courts because the judge said that they were both drunk. So he was just kidding, shoving his dick in her face and trying to have sex.
Did he admit to shoving his dick in her face?
In the police report, he admitted to that. He admitted to saying that, and he admitted to, I might have pushed her around a little bit. I get horny when I get drunk. He actually said that.
Yeah, it's such a horrible
But I got an email 2 days ago
from him,
supposedly from his girlfriend. Augie Smith was like, I picture him sitting in a dress and a wig typing this. And, but it said, you said you would take down this blog if he was found innocent. And so I was reading my blog going, I did not say that I would ever take this down.
Yeah.
And so I haven't responded. I won't respond.
His career's over, obviously.
It isn't. He's working. He's working.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's working just normal.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, supposedly, and this is rumor, I don't know if it's true, the guy who owns the House of Comedy, the Richmond House of Comedy, paid his bail.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some guy named Rick.
You know, I don't know that guy, but I would say rape is the worst because because it's either like you raped a girl or somebody falsely accused you and somebody's lives are ruined. You know what I mean?
Well,
no matter what, you know, like that. Obviously, he fucked up. You know, he did it.
Well, and he didn't rape her. He didn't. He just all he did. But
he tried to assault her or whatever. But I'm just saying.
But I know so many women. This is what he likes to do.
Yeah.
He likes when a woman is sitting. He likes to walk up to them and stick his crotch in their face and go, "Hey, what do you? As long as you're there, and you're like, yeah, I know that guy.
That's really bad. And I also get annoyed then too when I hit on women. If I hit on women on Facebook, they'll be like, "You're a creep," and I'm like, "I just asked you out. How was that like a creep move?"
Yeah.
That's just me getting rejected and being a loser.
Yeah, that's not that creepy. That's just, I mean, that's the kind of guy that guy is. And I know a handful of those guys. I don't hang out with those guys, right? Why would you?
Not.
That guy's a terrible guy. Why would I hang out with that guy?
Why would you?
And hacky rape lines. Who wants? I will not hang out with a hack. He needs to be funny.
That's also power over women, you know, like that whole thing.
At the very
least. Guys who do that.
Yeah. It's all power.
It is all. Because
he does it. I'm sure he does it to guys,
too. If you were like a sex addict, you would just be like, "Oh, I'll just go to Backpage and pay some girl." You know what I mean? Like,
you got some access to some websites that I do not.
I don't want to talk about. But I'm just saying, if you're like, that's almost not even sex addict behavior because that's like you exerting power. Because if we were sick, you wouldn't want to even know about it. So I'd be like, why don't I just pay some fucking?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want.
I know sex addicts.
Or like, I'll try to fuck this person. They'll say no. You know what I mean?
And I'll go ask somebody else.
And I'll go ask somebody else until somebody
says yes.
Me. Yeah.
Jared Logan told the funniest story.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. That's the one where some girl liked it or step 9. Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was, there's some show on Comedy Central, I guess.
Yeah.
Man something where you explain how to hit on women or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
No?
No.
Okay. It's cause they asked him to be on it.
Yeah.
And so he said, well, you don't want to hear how I hit on women. Yeah. Essentially, I just play video games. This is before he was engaged, right? Before he had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
He said, I would just play video games and my sexual energy would just build up and build up and build up until I would, I'd get sick of jerking off. So what I would do is I would go to a bar and I would find a woman who looked almost exactly the same body type as this. And I would hit on her and then she would be like, yeah, let's do this. And then I would have sex and then I'd go back and play video games for 6 more months. And, and I was like, and I said, oh, they didn't want you. He told that story on stage, which is why I feel okay about telling that story. Cause he told it on, the Slipper Room show.
Oh, right. It's that show.
What's Sean?
Sweet.
Yeah, Sweet. And so that's why I feel like, I mean, it's a public story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they turned it down. He was like, they didn't want to hear anything quite so real as that desperate, I need to get laid.
Yeah, that's never like, that's never a good thing, like and I've always said with like women too, I've had like baffling losses and then like miracle wins. Like it's like, cause I was, Jared, I've definitely dated more. And Jared, I got this like, cause I was like, went through this was 2 breakups ago where I was like literally going on 2 dates a night.
Okay.
And then Jared, because he doesn't listen to Jared Logan, we're talking about.
Oh, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jared, I'm good buddies with Jared.
Oh, fair enough. I was like,
in the middle of it,
I forgot who I was talking about.
I was talking about my love life, and he just goes, this is like the funny, he goes, that's too much sex. He said it like Jared.
Right, because Jared Logan, who was on this show talking about Renaissance history,
oh my God, that is fucking perfect.
It is.
Every time I just imagine him as a Moliere character.
Oh,
you know?
Oh, yeah. And he has that southern accent that sounds vaguely gay, but he isn't gay.
Yeah.
But he has that whole...
Jury's still out, but yeah.
And so anyway, Dan Sir Germain, we're at an hour 10.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming. And, we'll keep you posted. People should go to danstgermain.net and check out your dates. They should go to @DSGermain for Twitter. And they should get your album, Bad at the Good Times, which is a good time.
And then I got a podcast, My Dumb Friends.
That's it on All Things Comedy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening, folks. Take care out there. Bye.
My hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?